Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to X Japan. As promised, here is my 2019 top 5 album releases, top 5 Japanese album releases. So this year has been super packed with amazing music, so it's been really hard to narrow it down to just 5, but I think I've got it. So let's get into it. So I'm not going to be playing any music clips in this video, but I will be just playing some of my favourite riffs from each album on guitar. In case you haven't heard of any of these albums or artists, you can get a little taste of what is in store for you. Go! Okay, so in 5th place, the album is Vorvados by CU. So CU is the guitarist from Galnerius, and he has released solo albums in the past, but this is the latest solo album he's done. It came out in February this year and is an absolute insane masterpiece of an album, so you really need to check it out. This is actually the first solo album he's done that hasn't been instrumental. He's actually got a lot of guest vocalists on this album, likes of Fuki from Doll's Box, and also Akan Liv from Liv Moon. Others include Tears of Tragedy vocalists, plus many more other artists, and as well as the singer from Galnerius as well. So my hat's off to CU, because he is like an absolute music writing machine. It's unbelievable how much music he's managed to produce in his lifetime. It is actually insane. Almost every year he brings out something, and this year he did this solo album plus a new Galnerius album as well, which is just crazy. But this album just has so many awesome riffs, amazing lead work. Every song I would say is great, especially the songs with Fuki, Reason and Android Dedication, and Chaotic Reality, which has the singer from Liv Moon on it as well. And yeah, it's just a really well put together album. It is quite different to Galnerius. There are some tracks like the one that the singer from Galnerius sings on that does quite sound Galnerius, but overall, it actually musically and having all these other vocalists, it makes it quite a different project from Galnerius, so that's really cool. So if you're a fan of power metal or just good old fashioned heavy metal with lots of amazing solos and lead work, then you should definitely give this album a listen. See you, Volvados. And here's some of my favorite riffs from the album. Okay, so my number 4th spot. So it was quite hard for me to choose between the number 3 and number 4. Quite a tie. But I've made my decision, and number 4 slot goes to Conqueror, Band-Maid. Okay, so I already did a whole video review on Conqueror, so if you haven't watched that, go watch it after this, of course. But those of you guys who have watched it, you know my opinions on the album. I think it's actually an amazing album. The reason why it's maybe down the list on this top 5 albums list is just because, just for me, it was just a slight disappointment that they sort of veered away from the hard rock element. To me, Band-Maid are always a hard rock band, but they toned it down a little bit for this album. That's not to say that the songs aren't amazing, they are. But just for me, that's why it didn't quite climb higher up in this list. But just talking about what's good about the album, the songwriting, just the musicianship, the work that you can hear that's gone into making this album is just absolutely outstanding. I really do applaud the girls for putting out such an amazing record. Saki, the vocals, I did explain this in the review, but I think this album is just like very much a vocal showcase, and Saki's like star of the show. The guitars and everything kind of take a back seat, even though they're all amazing. But yeah, the vocals and the arrangements, the harmonies, just the layering, everything is just super impressive. And yeah, there's like a couple of little, missteps in my opinion, namely the song The Dragon Cries. I'm not a big fan of that song and just the way it's produced. That's just my opinion. But to sum up, yeah, it's a great album and you really should check it out. So here's some of my favorite riffs from the album. Okay, so my number 3 pick, and like I said, this was quite a close tie, and it's ironic because both of these albums actually came out on the same day, which is super weird, but it's here. I made my decision. My number 3 pick is Expose Your Emotions, Bright Ear. Okay, so before I just start talking about this album, I just want to talk a little bit about Bright Ear and just all the stuff that they've gone through. So, you know, it's actually amazing to me that, you know, this album came out when it did, considering the fact that, you know, the Bright Ear lineup has changed so much, and this is a very new band to what was on the first album. So there are only 2 remaining members from the original lineup, Kimi, the vocalist, and Haru, the bassist. All the rest are different. I have to say that, you know, from bringing together such a new band, and, you know, for the amount of time that they've been together, they've managed to produce something really special. So I kind of lost, you know, after, you know, the whole lineup craziness that was going on, I kind of lost a bit of interest in Bright Ear. I didn't think that they were going to kind of recapture what I loved about them in the first place. Then I saw them play live at the Metal Matsuri Festival, and I just completely changed like that. They were absolutely phenomenal, and they just like reinforced my belief in that band. And the new guitarists, Misaki and Ayumi, they're just phenomenal together, and like they're both insane guitarists. Between playing live shows, like learning all the back catalog to these songs and coming up with a whole bunch of new songs for this album, you know, just my hat's off to them. They've done so well. I'm really proud of them. So the album itself is just, you know, kind of a mix. You know, if you take the first album is definitely a metal album, but this album could almost fall into more of a hard rock category. So if you're a fan of Band-Maid and you haven't heard Bright Ear, then you should definitely check out this album. You might not so much like the first album because, like I said, it's a bit more metal, but this is definitely a bit more hard rock. But it's definitely more leaning towards the metal side than Band-Maid are. And standout tracks on this album, Ghoul, the first song, and they have a music video for that one. You should check it out. Really cool video. Intro riff to that is just so cool. Absolutely love it. And guitar solo is amazing. Just a great song overall. Awakers is got a real strong, slow, sludgy riff, which I absolutely love. Sounds super cool. It's almost kind of new metal-y. It has one of the most beautiful acoustic songs on it you'll ever hear in your life, called You. It's just a very bare, stripped down to acoustics and vocals. It's just absolutely stunning song. So well put together and beautifully played. And then it goes straight into a song called Sick that is just like, you know, balls to the wall, you know, just rock and just makes you go nuts. It's awesome. And yeah, just looking at the writing credits, they're all over the place. So they all, you know, they've all had a hand in writing this album, which again is really cool. It's just really awesome to see, you know, such a new group of people coming together and creating something like this. So yeah, just all of that together, they deserve the number 3 spot. And here's some of my favorite riffs from the album. Okay, so my number 2 pick is one of my favorite vocalists of all time, and this summer she brought out her solo album. It's called Million Scarlets, and it's Fuki. Okay, so this album is really something special. Some of you might be familiar with her work with Doll's Box and Unlucky Morpheus, so you know how good she is. But this album, you know, is really something, and it's very much a collab album. I didn't know before last night. I was just researching some things, you know, just to talk about in the video about the albums. You know, I had the order already worked out, but I didn't realize the level of collaboration that went into this album, and I'll go into that in a sec. Without knowing that stuff and going into just listening to it, it's such a eclectic mix of different influences and genres and styles and just like everything. There's something for everyone in this album. It basically goes from symphonic metal to jazz, and then to ballads, to, you know, electronic, to rock, and back again. It's just crazy, but it works so well. And Fuki is just, such a talented artist that she can pull all that off absolutely no problem at all. So as well as working with some of her bandmates from Unlucky Morpheus, she's bringing in other people like Lisa X, the young guitarist, YouTuber. She's playing with Misa from Ex Bride You Remember, and it's not just she's playing guitar. She's playing guitar on maybe two or three songs, maybe two, and not just guitar. She's doing arrangements on some as well, which is super awesome. She's working with Ryu, a guitarist from Bloodstained Child, and other people. And there's even, some tie-ins to my number one choice, which I'll save till I talk about the number one. But yeah, it's just such a mix of different people like coming together to work on this album, which like it really comes across, because it's, even though the songs are so different, it feels like it all belongs on the same album, which is really something. So you have songs like Bloody Rain, which is, quite Unlucky Morpheus-ish, it's the symphonic metal. And then it goes into songs like Juliet, which is a little more electronic. Zinger Ringer Gang Love, which is such a Japanese title, I know. But it's just, this is the one that's like really jazzy, and it could belong on an anime soundtrack. It's just so cool, and like her voice suits it so well. But yeah, I just cannot say enough good things about this album. I listen to it all the time. I'm always hearing something new. It's got one of those albums that I'll just put on if I can't really decide on what I want to listen to. I'll just put that on, and like it just it's the best thing to listen to, really, because it has everything. It's just absolutely great. It definitely deserved a number 2 spot, and I hope you guys check it out if you haven't heard. If you haven't heard Fuki, definitely check out her other stuff. But if you have and you haven't checked out this solo album, you definitely need to. So yeah, so here's a couple of my favorite little riffs from the album. Okay, so here is my number 1 album of 2019, and like I said, this was such a hard list to put together, but there was one album that I heard fairly recently that I just have not stopped playing, and it's just like, it's so awesome. I even ordered a copy of it from Japan. I had to have it, not just to have a physical copy, but I'll explain in a minute why I had to have the physical copy too. But it is Dual Alter World, Alter Ego. There it is there. So this is the anime and album in one. This is such a cool concept to do. I've never heard anything like it. So basically, this album has a story. It's a concept album, and it has basically voice acting from the singer. The singer is Kotori Kawai. She's a voice actress / vocalist, and this is a collaboration album between her and Ryu from Bloodstained Child. So the music is very much in the Bloodstained realm, if you will. Very fast, very melodic, very riff heavy, lots of cool leads, tapping solos. But just having like these story elements in, mixed with the music is just like absolutely fascinating to me. And even when I didn't understand what the story was, I didn't understand what the story was, I could take a guess. It wasn't until I ordered the physical copy that it actually has the English translations for all the in-between dialogue. I had to have it because I needed to know, I really needed to know what the story was. But like I said, it wasn't super important. It was still one of my favorite albums to listen to. It was just absolutely amazing. So basically the story follows a girl who has woken up, who has just been sort of reanimated in the future after being put to sleep to be kept safe from all these natural disasters that are happening at the time. And so she's woken up in this kind of like new Tokyo, becomes an assassin, basically, a hired gun, so her life is not the most stable or safe. But then she finds an entertainment droid called Rushi, but I think it's Lucy. It says Rushi in this, but I think it's wrong. But I think Rushi is supposed to be, Ryu, so it's like, it's Katori and Ryu. The droid is the entertainment robot who actually ends up like playing guitar because she buys him a guitar, or she buys her a guitar. It's just crazy. I won't, if you want to dive into this, I won't spoil too much, but basically it gets pretty hectic and emotional towards the end. But just every song on this album is is just a gem, to me. It's just, they're so good, so catchy. If you're a fan of Bloodstained Child, you're absolutely gonna love this. It's so good. It's, essentially, you could almost say it's a follow-up to like Epsilon, which is, kind of one of their biggest albums. And it was actually someone in the queue to Metal Matsuri. Shout out to Derek, by the way, if you're watching this. Thank you for suggesting this album to me, because I absolutely love it. And he showed me it, and I downloaded it on Spotify and just haven't stopped listening to it since, basically. So this album is just chock full of amazing riffs, amazing leads, amazing vocal melodies. The singer, Katori, she's got such a unique and cool voice, and sometimes she changes between kind of like anime voice and like proper voice, which is a really cool like thing to be able to do, especially like in one song. And yeah, just I don't know, I can't really say enough good things about this album. It just there's not one bad moment on it. The only thing I would maybe like criticize is that some of the dialogue does go on for quite a while. So obviously if you don't understand Japanese, you're just like, right, okay. But these are all individual songs themselves. Easy enough to just skip all past all these and just get on with the music. Everything about it is just epicness, awesomeness, all the good things that you could ever want. It's just, for me personally, it's just my cup of tea, basically. It's awesome. So yeah, I hope you guys maybe check it out if you haven't heard it already. It really is good. And yeah, here's a couple of my favorite riffs from the album. Okay, so that was my top 5 Japanese releases for 2019. I hope you enjoyed this list. Let me know down below what you thought, and if you have any favorites of your 2019, I would love to hear what you guys think as well, and let me know what your favorites are. And like I've said in many other videos before, these are just my personal favorites and opinions. Don't take what I'm saying as fact. These are 100% the best albums of 2019. They're not. It's all subjective. Some of you guys, these albums might not even crack your top 10. That's cool. These are just my personal 2019 favorites, and I just really wanted to share it with you because they're special to me, and I hope that maybe some of you might find some new music through me doing these videos. We need to share our music tastes and our favorite things, and then that's how we discover new things. So yeah, that can only be a good thing. So thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know when this video is going to go up. It might actually go up on New Year's Day. If so, I hope you had a great new year. If it goes up before that, I hope you have a good new year. And I hope 2020 is, an amazing year for all of you. And yeah, I'm planning big things for 2020, so I hope you stick around with me for it. Take care, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the like button if you like the video. And yeah, that's all. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye.